Senator Guru?
Here.
Senator Larson?
Here.
Senator Smith?
Here.
Chairman Salzar?
Here.
Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
Yeah.
So, I have a feeling that Senate File 123 is going to go really quickly. Well, then let's do it now. Senate File 123. I hope it will go quickly. Senator Brennan.
Probably up to your committee, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senate File 133 creates a competitive grants for crossing guards that schools and school districts can apply for. Just briefly, we have found that crossing guards and getting kids to and from school has been a safety issue in my district. There's been one student who was killed in a school crosswalk, and just recently there was another child that was hit going home from school. So as this creates a grant, then we have an appropriation with it, which is why I am here. So on page 2, the grant, school districts would apply for it. In 1 year, the grant should not exceed $10,000 per school per year that they would apply for. And then if you go over to section 2, which is page 5, lines 11, this is where the appropriation is. It is $4.9 million from the Public School Foundation Program to the Department of Education for the grant program, and not more than $1.65 million would be expended in each school year. This would be appropriated for this year and the next biennium, and then that would give us 3 years to see if schools are using this and if this program is effective.
Thank you. Any questions from the committee? Senator Larson.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good to see you. I guess I have a question. Is there any specifics on the grant? Is there a 1-to-1 match, or is there anything like that? 2-to-1 match?
Currently, as the bill is written, there is no match.
Any other questions? Senator Smith.
Sure. Could you go into a little more detail about the expense that's incurred by the districts with this? Just elaborate a little bit about why they're incurring an expense. You know,
Can you rephrase that for my poor
sure.
little brain?
So it's the school district applies for the $10,000 grant, and that $10,000 goes where? The individual school. Yeah.
Thank you, Senator Smith. Mr. Chairman, so the school district would have to submit a proposal that would document the need for the crossing guard and a plan for the expenditure of the grant amounts. And at a minimum, they would have to, and it's on page 3 of the bill, the proposed schools and intersections where volunteers and school district employees will act as a crossing guard, the number of hours and the number of volunteers and school district employees that will act as crossing guards. It would have to include the training and education requirements for volunteers and school district employees acting as crossing guards, and then equipment with itemized prices for each piece of equipment to be funded by the grant, and then any other necessary information required by the Department of Ed. And this would have to be submitted to the department no later than August 1st of each applicable school year.
Okay, any other questions? Any other questions? Thank you. Public testimony. Anyone wish to comment? Linda, is there anyone online?
No one's online.
Okay, I will close public testimony. What would the committee like to do?
Mr. Chair, I'm on and for this. I'll move the bill. I'll just tell you.
Okay, we have someone moving the bill. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Senator Smith.
I'm shocked at the level of distraction, at least in my community where I see. I'm not just the drivers, but the kids. It's alarming to me. I'm surprised we haven't had more accidents. I think this is just a good measure. We have lots of people that are concerned about kids, and I appreciate the good bringer of this bill, because it does, it's kind of, you get these crossing guards, and it's kind of hard to miss them with their signs, and I just think this is a good use of those dollars. So thank you.
Senator Rue.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to offer an amendment.
Okay, what's your amendment?
I would like to amend, on the fiscal note, amend this down. Basically, what I'm, just conceptual there, Linda. This is, what I'd like to offer as amendment is to just delete year 20, FY 26 and FY 27. If I get a second, I'll explain.
Second.
I think the program's a good idea. I think the program is a worthy idea. What I'd like to do is fund it for this year and have you come into the regular process when we come back here in 9 months, and then let's flesh out the rest of it. I really don't have a problem with the program. I want to see it, but I want to kind of walk through it with and hear more, get more testimony from the school districts. Is there keying on a couple of key points? One, then, and it was brought up about possible matches, other possible ways to get more appropriations dollars, whether it's grants and aid, wherever else we can do, to really to kind of prod a little bit our school districts to jump in. I know this has been worked on. I know it's well thought, but I'd just like to really just kind of see if there's any other way we can poke around together. Not against this at all. I want you to know that, but, and if it can't, then I'll push the rest of the funding.
So is there a second to that? We have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Carried. Any other discussion on the bill? Any other discussion on the bill? Roll call.
Mr. Chairman, roll call on Senate File 0123 as amended. Senator Driscoll. Aye. Senator Grew.
Aye.
Senator Larson.
Aye.
Senator Smith. And Chairman Salzar.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, 5 ayes do pass amended.
Great. The next is Senate File 195, President Beitman.
Good afternoon, Chairman and Committee. Before you is Senate File 195, Small Business Emergency Bridge Loan Program. This program is going to be for small businesses during declared natural disasters. Why I'm here is because of the appropriation, cool $50 million to set up this revolving account that will be used to make these 0% loans to affected small businesses. I came up with this idea when I was out fighting fire on the Elk Fire. Thought about how in the world are we going to be able to help these ranchers build miles of fence and keep them going in operation. And honestly, when the fire was going on, my phone was blowing up. I had to leave my wife and kids at home to pack up all of our belongings, and I'm fighting a fire, and then I'm getting text messages from other friends like, hey, can we move our horses over to your place? Is your place safe? Are you in the evacuation zone? We need to move our animals and all this stuff. Thinking, how can we help people so we don't have another disaster like that again, so we can get resources to people quickly within, this bill contemplates within 5 days, the money's distributed. Instead of, here we are, how many months after the Elk Fire and the Remington Fire, and there's still people out there that haven't got anything. That's what's beautiful about this bridge loan program. It's designed to be a bridge loan program paid back within 3 years. You put up collateral, whether you got insurance money coming, you've got any other aid coming. If you don't have insurance, you can put up property, you can put up equipment, anything. It's got to be collateralized though. So I can walk you through the provisions, or we can talk about the appropriations. It's up to you, Mr. Chairman.
I think we've all read the bill. I've read it twice. Let's just go to the appropriation.
Okay. So we came up with 50 million. I think You know, honestly, I don't know if it's enough, but it's a start. My focus is on the horizon and not in the past. I think this sets us up for the next disaster, whatever it may be. It could be an infrastructure failure.
Mr. President, sorry to interrupt. This is our bill. This is the appropriations bill. You didn't come, is this a re-referral?
No, this is us.
Yes, okay.
It's full committee.
Okay, thank you. Sorry to interrupt, Mr. President.
Oh, seriously? Yeah,
Mr. President, if you don't mind, I think I would like to just get the broad outline of the bill.
Okay.
And then go into the appropriation.
okay, you bet. So actually, we did this in front of Ag. This is a re-referral. I'm having major deja vu here.
Okay.
Like, I know I
Then-
gave this testimony.
Then just,
It is a Friday.
again, I apologize for interrupting you.
No,
Just
you're fine.
hit the appropriation.
So
bill.
it creates a small business emergency bridge loan account, 50 million allocated from the general fund, and the loan repayments go back into the program fund. Another feature we set up, also when we were dealing with the fire up in my neck of the woods, we had an outpouring of public that wanted to donate and didn't know how. They just, well, can we, so they would just come to our fire hall and just drop off tons of food, tons of water. They would bring cash, they would bring checks, and they would just drop it on the desk. This allows for people that want to donate and make a contribution and feel like they are able to help out. They can write a check to this fund, and that'll help pay off somebody's loans. So I think it's a win-win.
So, great. Any questions?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Senator Driscoll.
do you want to wait to committee of the whole on outside of financial? Because I'd just soon just sit with the sponsor
Sure.
outside and then go to committee of the whole is to ask them right here. If
up
that's
to
all
you.
right with you, Mr. Chair.
That's fine.
I don't want to waste your time.
Anything? Senator Guru, any questions? Okay. Any testimony on this? We got a full house. Anyone online?
No.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Second, any discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Chairman, roll call vote on Senate File 0195. Senator Driscoll? No. Senator Guru? Aye. Senator Larson registered an aye vote. Senator Smith? Aye. And Chairman Salzar?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, word explanation, I can't justify 50 million bucks right now out of this committee. I applaud the bill, I understand it, I'm living it right now. I've got about close to a 7-figure claim that's unpaid going on 4 months now, so I've got great compunction of what happens in between on these, but I'm not sure how, I'll visit with you some offline, but how we figure out how to do 50 million bucks when seem to be pulling 30s, 50s, and 100s right and left. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair, and let me say that we still have the rest of the day to take care of some of those issues back on the floor. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. President. So just a word to the committee. We were going to keep upon adjournment open for any re-referrals. Linda, do we have any re-referrals that we haven't taken?
Just a question on Senate File 142 that you had on your agenda today.
Yes, no, that is pulled.
Okay.
That we will not be.
There
hearing
are no
that.
other referrals.
There's no other referrals. So